This week was full of Xbox and Nintendo news, so it only seems fair we combine the two so we can talk about the big surprise that could be waiting on the horizon. So let's break that all down up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. So I do think it's safe to say anytime we talk about games going multi-platform, there are a lot of reactions towards this prospect. The scale varies from either really happy or really against this idea, mainly because people do have a vested interest in their favorite companies and developers. This also raises a lot of questions in regards to the future of Xbox as it pertains to their known place in the world of gaming. And to that, I do think there is more of a conversation on these short-term gains in exchange for long-term success for them in the future. And quite honestly, I wish I had the answer, but right now the answers are very far off. But until then, let's not focus on the doom and gloom, and let's focus on the big potential that Xbox has, especially coming up being a big-time supporter of the Nintendo Switch 2. Last year in this Nintendo financial report, it did come out that Microsoft, among many other companies, will be a big third-party supporter for the Switch 2. And this is all because everyone doesn't want to miss out on the hype that did exist with the Switch 1. And to kind of touch on that real quick, people stayed away from the Switch 1 mainly because it was an unknown variable at the time for Nintendo. And they were coming off the heels of the Wii U, which wasn't a good time for them. So yeah, I get why people want to stay away then, but right now, everyone wants in. And speaking of right now, we really don't know what this partnership between Nintendo and Xbox entails for the Switch 2. Of course, we could make some educated guesses as for what games could be going to that platform, but right now there isn't anything official, at least up until today. Well, kinda, but thanks to a new report coming from Tom Warren in The Verge, an announcement around this exact topic may be going down sooner than we think. Quote, I revealed last year that Hellblade 2 was under consideration for the PS5 release, alongside other titles like Gears of War, Halo Combat Evolved, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Microsoft is also working on Xbox ports for the Nintendo Switch 2, which I expect we'll hear about soon. Now, as we all know, it is showcase season in the gaming world, especially as we head into June and July. This is normally the time we get a wide range of announcements across all console makers and developers, so I do like to think we get word on this exact subject as for what games are going over to the Switch 2 somewhere in this time frame. Plus, we can't rule out Nintendo holding their own Summer Direct post-Switch 2 launch, and they tend to do that. Plus, they did confirm they will be at Gamescom with the Switch 2 in hand, so most likely that's a spot for this as well. But the bigger question I did allude to earlier was, what games could be in the pipeline for the Switch 2? My picks would sit around the range of Age of Empires games, Forza Horizon, seeing how that's coming over to the PS5, Sea of Thieves, and probably Indiana Jones. I do also think we see a possibility of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and maybe even Halo the Master Chief Collection hit the Switch 2 as well. And speaking on Halo primarily, that would be a massive jolt for the Halo franchise, which I do think is so desperately needed. Plus, what a way to introduce other console fan bases to Xbox's most iconic franchise. The other scraps to this here argument would include games like Fallout, anything like that, but I do think there is a big possibility, and I'm gonna push this narrative. We do get the older Banjo games back on the Nintendo Switch 2. And yes, I'm still pushing that narrative primarily because Rare did get their start with Nintendo. People do love Banjo-Kazooie. I love Banjo-Kazooie, so it just kind of seems like the right fit. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass it off to you guys. What do you think about all this, and what games could you see coming to the Switch 2? But that about does it here. I've been Kalo, I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.